Hey, it's Ronai, and I'm so excited. This is our first Be the Light for 2026. And I'm really excited. Shannon and I do this quite often together, and every now and then we'll bring somebody else in, and LeeAnn has been one of those people. And I'm excited because this one actually is LeeAnn had a little bit of inspiration and asked if she could be a part of this. And of course, we're like, yes, of course. So LeeAnn, would you tell us what we're going to be talking about today?
Gratitude and releasing moving in to a new year. Um, oh, you guys, the emotions are raw and real. Um, 2025 was transformational for me in in many ways. Um, I've been working with Rone on my strengths for several years. And as she released Faithfully Unleash Your Strengths, I realized I needed to retake my strengths test because it wasn't authentic anymore. Because when I took my strengths test, I was trying to live into what others had told me I was supposed to be. And as I have been on this journey, then I like Rone's like, you need to retake your test. And I finally trusted her, which is funny. Last year was my word was trust, learning to trust differently. Because truthfully, you guys, I trust Rone wholeheartedly. There are things that I don't trust myself enough to do. Rone's like, hey. And then as I paid more attention to Shannon's gratitude posts each day, and realized living from a different place of gratitude. I've done a gratitude journal and I write 5 things every day that I'm grateful for, but I never thought about writing why I was grateful for them until watching Shannon's posts every day. Then, as I was preparing for 2026, resolutions don't work. And Rone and I are going to do a class on that next week. But I was trying to contemplate with God why they don't work. And it's because we are holding on to what we don't want, all the things that we don't want. So we want to change them. And so we hold tighter and tighter to what we want. And then going, but I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. So I had the aha of as we are grateful, release what we don't want and what's not serving us and go into how do we want to feel? I want to feel joy. I want to feel connection. I want to feel love. So my 2026 word is release. Release so I can become rather than the other way around. And so I don't know, I just felt like, well, this was the funny thing. I actually felt like, oh, Rone and Shannon totally need to do this as there be the light. Then God said, no, this is a 3 of you thing. And I didn't actually think of it as a be the light. I'm like, I don't know if this is a faithfully unleash your strengths thing, if this is just a conversation on our business pages or what it's supposed to be. But I texted Rone and Shannon and said, hey, will you guys join me? And here it is.
Well, I love that, first off. So often I have messaged you and been like, hey, so I got this inspiration for you. Now, here's the thing. We are fully capable of receiving our own inspiration. Like, we are the only people who are fully capable of receiving our own inspiration. And we can also, people that we work closely with, uh, that we have given permission to, sometimes that inspiration comes through other people. Okay, because sometimes we're not listening. And there's been many times when LeeAnn's been like, hey, so I kind of got this inspiration for you. Now, you double check for yourself. So whenever LeeAnn says something like that, or I say something to LeeAnn or Shannon or whatever, you have to double check for yourself. Like, yeah, is this really for me? Absolutely. Or, you know, because like even with the book, Faithfully Unleash Your Strengths, I was like, Eddie, we're supposed to write this book together. And he was like, here's this part. and I'm supposed to mentor you through the rest of it. I was like, okay, okay. Because we get things in parts and pieces sometimes.
Love that because you and I have known each other for over 20 years. We've been business partners for, I
Over
think,
15,
14, 15 years. Yeah,
somewhere
somewhere
around
in there. And it wasn't until we became business partners that the inspiration started. And it was, again, I love how you say that, permission based, because I did struggle with that a little bit as we were learning the strengths. And it was, what's my business, what's your business, and what's God's business. And then I'm like, wait, but then how come Rone sometimes gets the nudge? It's because sometimes we're not listening and we do need those trusted people, but it is permission based, which I totally love that aspect.
Yeah. And Shannon, I would love for you to talk about the gratitude posts that LeeAnn mentioned.
I have a friend who I would watch on Facebook, post something every day. He calls it a positive, my positive thing for the day. He's on day 2000. And a couple of years ago, almost a couple of years ago, I thought, I want to do this too. And I do it a little differently. I post, here's what I'm thankful for. And I use it more as a gratitude, a direct gratitude. Uh, I love it because it challenges me to go beyond the obvious. You get into a mindset, especially when you're posting it publicly, of I could post the same thing every day, right? Like we all probably have like the top five things that we're thankful for or pretty close to in terms of, family and friends and roof over our head and God in our life and all the things. And so it makes me go not only a little deeper, but a little smaller. It makes me look for the small things that, you know, um, I remember this one. It's so silly, but I remember it because my niece was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was like a big thing I got comments on. It's like I remember one day I was like, "I am so thankful for Costco rotisserie chicken because dinner was a fail. We needed something in a hurry, and and it sparked this whole conversation." But it just makes me look for those small things, and I do mine every night right before bed. Like I literally get into bed, and that's what I do is go on and think through my day and pick my thing that I'm going to be thankful for that day.
I love that. There, 27 years ago, Michael and I were living the reason I can say this is because Joey was 3. And we were living in Illinois, and we were helping get this trailer set up for his grandma, but we were living in it because she wasn't ready to move out of her home yet. But we were living without running water, without electricity, without heat. I had a cord that came from the big house over to our house, so I could plug in one thing. So during the day, sometimes like if I wanted to get dinner ready, I would plug in the TV so the kids could watch something. I would prep everything. Then I would unplug the TV and I would plug in the wok because I wanted to be able to cook. We could go over to the house across the lane, which was his aunt and uncle's. We could go over there and do all the things, but I was wanting to be very independent. And so I would plug in the wok and I would cook in the wok. Now, we had a freeze box because literally there was a refrigerator, and in the top freezer part, I had jugs of water that I would freeze at the big house and line the ice box. I created an ice box so we could have just some necessities, right? And I would plug in the wok, I would cook, and then I would get everything done before it would get dark because then we would need to plug in the light so that we could eat when Michael got home. And it was actually kind of a really cool experience. And then shortly after that, we ended up moving back to Minnesota. But I can remember these 3-year-old little prayers, the little prayers from the 3-year-old. I'm thankful for electricity. I'm thankful for heat. Just like those things that we don't think about. And so often when I am coaching people, some of the things that I will help them realize when they are criticizing their bodies or doing all these different things, I'm like, have you ever been thankful for the air in your lungs? Like you can breathe. Have you ever been thankful that you can walk? Because there's a lot of people who can't. And so there are things that people don't look at. They're just assumed, right? I'm thankful that my heart beats, right? And so I love the idea, and I'm afraid to commit to anything that because consistency is not high for me. But I would love I will toy with the idea of starting my own daily gratitude because I think the more positive we can put in the world, like how beautiful would that be? There's so much negative.
Renee, I'm going to challenge you instead of having to be consistent, just give gratitude and post when you post. Give yourself that freedom to just do it when you do it. And when you don't, have no ties.
That's easier for me because I the only resolution I have ever kept is that I would never make another resolution because they don't work. Come to our class next week. I'll drop the link in here, but come to our class next week and we're going to talk about different ways why resolutions don't work and different things that we can do, which
Yeah. I want to go back to something you talked about because you shared a video with me talking about a Harvard study that our body is always listening, regardless if it's mental talk or out loud. Our body is always listening. And so if you're always doing what your body isn't doing or what's wrong, then your body actually listens to that over and over, some of them like a broken record. And and I'm probably going to slaughter this completely, but it was like a neurological epidemiologist. And they were doing a study about talking to your body. And instead of all the things it can't do, is thanking your body or saying, I can do this. And so I shared it with my kids. And one of my daughters has a rare disease, and winters have typically been tough for her. And she has started doing I am thankful my body is working. And yesterday she actually said to me, you know what, Mom? Usually in a storm like this, I am hurting so bad. And I woke up thanking my body and I feel pretty good.
yeah.
And so I was like, okay, this is something I am choosing to release the negative self talk, and it's going to happen. That's fine. But go, oh, I don't need to stay in that place. And I am choosing to then replace it with gratitude. And that's it. That's the full circle it came, is like, I need to then focus on what I'm thankful for and then dive deeper, like Shannon, into why. Because I'd never even considered the why. So I love that when I see your post and it's something like so different than what I would have thought of. And then you post why, and I'm like, oh, I can totally see that. It's relatable to me, right? And I think even without you knowing, I feel more connected to you because you've shared not just what you're grateful for, but why.
Yeah, I had no idea. I'm very happy to know that God is using it too. I've had a few people reach out to me and it's like I don't even know I don't know who sees them or who doesn't, and if it affects anybody or doesn't. I started doing it because I needed to find it's so easy to get caught up in what goes wrong. It's so easy to get caught up in stress. It's so easy to get caught up in beating yourself up. And like you said, our body does keep score, which is a great book. And it also believes what we tell it, whether what we tell it is true or not. Words matter, especially the words we say to ourselves, whether out loud or in our brain. And so, and to kind of go on what you were saying in terms of, what I don't like about New Year's resolutions is it's always the concept of starting over. It's kind of like every Monday when you start the new diet, I'm starting over. And for me, the problem with starting over is you can't start over and just let go of something negative without let it like starting over means everything prior didn't exist, which means you lose the good and what you've learned. Like it's just, I mean, the truth is we're all on this journey and you're just, I see it as we're walking on a path And when you get stuck, you just stopped for a while. And when you start again, you're not starting over. You're just continuing on the same path, taking with you, what you've learned. And, First Corinthians 2:9 talks about how for those who believe in God, like we can't ever imagine what he has for us. Like the love that he has for us, the abundance that he has for us, the blessings that he has for us, how he built us, it's just beyond our imagining. And so I don't think of it so much as we have to become something because I've learned that it's already there. Like we are who God meant for us to be. And it's exactly what you're saying. It's about releasing the stuff that doesn't serve us and gets in the way. And because we all know what God intends for good, Satan intends for evil. So there's always a battle. So it's a process of us learning to release those things that get in the way of us being who God has already created us to be. So there's nothing we need to go search for or find or figure out how to be because it's all already there. It's all about figuring out how to release the things that are in the way and step into who God created us to be.
Yeah. I I've been working really hard the last couple weeks. I've got 5 days that I'm going and speaking at this church in Wisconsin, and you you just summed it all up there in like a couple sentences. But essentially, that we are not a factory error. We are custom creations. We are God's poema, his masterpiece, his living, breathing expression of glory here on earth. And the problem is that most of us don't know it.
Yeah.
Most of us sit here and we trash ourselves, and we bring others down with us as we do that. Even as we are comparing is the worst thing, right? So as you're
Mhm.
comparing yourself, oh, well, I wish I was more like him, or I wish I could think like her, or you're pretty much thumbing your nose at God. Like, you know what? You messed up on me.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm working so hard, which he has helped me realize, because let's be honest, uh, those who can't teach, right? Oh, what is that show? The wedding, I don't know. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about,
I
right?
do know
That's
what
a
you're talking
Yes.
about. You know what? The interesting thing is you said that because comparison does diminish our light.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yet there is an interesting dynamic that happens where we are programmed to do things in a very specific way, which then leads to comparison. If you look at our school system, it's you got to do it this way and you got to do it this way. It's just it's fascinating to me as I'm looking at things. My son goes to an alternative high school where he is in college and high school at the same time because for him that works. I didn't even consider some of these other ways. I know that Ronay, her kids did alternative things as well, but that wasn't necessarily something that was a big thing here in Utah or that kind of stuff. And I thought, what would have been different? My programming was that I couldn't learn because I was dyslexic. And the programming was I didn't fit the mold. So back then, I was in resource, which is the dumb kids, is what it was. It felt like, or the you're not you're not normal, I guess, is the programming I got. So I compared, and I just in October completed my associate's degree, where a couple years ago I didn't think that I could learn, which is also crazy because I learned how to become an essential oil coach. I learned how to become an emotion code practitioner. And I'm going to tell you all of these is because Ronay says, hey, I kind of think you're supposed to, but it's because I didn't believe in myself. But I trusted Ronay enough that she believed in me. And it's taken me about 10 years to actually believe in me. And so when I got the prompting that I was supposed to go back to school and do college, I didn't know how. And I was scared. And truthfully, Ronay and my husband were the ones that are my biggest cheerleaders in this. And when it would get hard, they're like, it's okay, you can do it. And so I had to stop comparing. And there are times, you guys, comparison still comes in. When the struggle is real, comparison will still come in. But now I'm like, okay, God, you've told me to do this. I don't know how to do it, and I don't know how to stop comparing. Just help me get through. And I had to lower expectations sometimes. I just took a statistics class, and by the grace of God, I passed it. And at one point, Ronay said, if you pass, stop trying to improve on that. Because I was truly driving myself crazy, right?
Yes.
Passed is the benchmark, not getting the A. And I had to release that. And it was funny. My teacher said, you have one more opportunity to improve your score. And I heard Ronay in the background going, no, you already passed. That's all you need to do. But I think that's what God's trying to tell us in some of these things. You've already passed. You're doing what I need you to do. You don't have to be Ronay. You don't have to be Joseph. You don't have to be whoever. You just have to do the work and be you.
Yeah.
Right there, you just taught one of the workshops I'm teaching is faith over formula. We are taught you do this, you at age this, you go to this school, and then this, and then this. Like we have these formulas, but those formulas don't work for everyone. This is why I love strengths so much. As you were talking about how I'm able to talk you into different things, I'm like, well, because of my empathy, I feel what you have going on. My communication, I'm really good at telling stories. My developer, like I know how to help. And my woo, I kind of talk a lot of people into a lot of things because I like to win others over and I can feel those things, right? But all it is working in my strengths. So, as you were talking, Proverbs 16:9, in their hearts, humans plan their course, but with but the Lord establishes their steps. And this is
How
what's changed.
beautiful.
This is what's changed for us, right? As we step more into what God wants for us, then and follow his steps, not our own, because let me tell you, my steps take me on the curvy journey instead of the straight and narrow sometimes, right? And that's where we need to be. That's where we need to be following his inspiration instead of so often we think that we have to do it all ourselves. And that's where comparison comes in, and that's where the struggle and the striving. Now, it's okay to look at someone and go, oh, like they're doing something really cool. How could I do something better with my life? Like with Shannon doing this daily inspiration of gratitude, right? And my brain goes, huh, how could I do that? But again, like I can't do it the way you do it. So LeeAnn was great because she knows my consistency is very low. So she's like, just do it your way. Oh, you mean use my strengths?
Well, my consistency is number 34. So it's like, but
So I have no excuse.
yeah, but no. So here's the thing though. I've had to learn how to give myself grace in it. I should be on like day 720 or so. I started it on a New Year's Day. And so I should be whatever, 25 days or 20, 30 days farther than I am. But if I miss a day, the next day I just say I'm on day whatever. So,
You know
um,
what? I actually love that. And that's a little bit of the behind the scenes, right?
yeah,
I would have never known that you missed a day because
yeah,
I don't see it always.
yeah. Missed about 30 of them. So,
So again, we compare what we see
yeah.
to what's reality, right? I would have thought you were very, again, with Ronay, very consistent, never missed a day. But I'm not tallying, oh, today she's on this day and today, wow.
Yeah.
Again, mind blown.
So it's funny though because so you were talking about release and I posted something a Sunday reset on my business page and I said, as we're going into 2026, before you jump forward into just forward, let's look at what do you need to let go of. It's so funny that we're kind of on the same page with this because we hadn't even talked about it. It's like, what is something you need to let go of in 2025? And the thing I commented and said was assumption. I said,
Mhm.
I am so quick to think I know more than I know about something. Kind of like what you were just saying. It's like, oh, you just assumed I do it every like we make so many assumptions without even being conscious of the fact that we're making them. And we have this whole story going in our head of how, and that falls into the comparison, right? Like you have this whole story going in your head of what you're seeing on the surface with this other person because you're not seeing the struggle, you're not seeing and it's funny how much we can sabotage ourselves with something that isn't even true. Because when you assume something about somebody, you are wrong 100% of the time. Like you never have it 100% right. You could have part of it right. You could, but you never are actually correct in your assumptions.
Well,
And
you are
so,
describing social media. We are seeing all the pretty stuff. Like half the time when I'm posting something, especially if it's in my kitchen, I cleared off whatever counters within the the camera view. But if you saw the other ones, and that's one of the things I love about my daughter when she creates one of those videos, she creates all the good stuff. And then at the end, you get to see all the mistakes, all the bloopers or the messy. She's like, and by the way, I just shoved all this stuff into my oven so that you wouldn't have to see the big mess, right? So I think if we did more of that, yes, we can do all the pretty stuff, but let's show what's really happening.
yeah,
So you say that, and it was funny because a week ago, this was Christmas, I guess a little over a week ago, Christmas staging area, right? So anytime that I went to film, it was like, what do I have to move? Down to the floor, down to the, it was like that. Oh, there's something behind me. So it is, it's the reality versus is what we show the world, right? And
yeah,
we then are even more making it so that people assume, right? Which is, again, we're not making them, it's just the world we live in. So yeah, again, mind blown, like the things we learn from each other as we go through and, and God is the worker of all the masterpieces of putting the things together so that we can progress,
yeah.
release, and restore or move forward to becoming who He created us. He already knows, He's already created us. It's us stepping in to that creation.
And I think, I mean, I have to flip the script. So it's like, yesterday was the first of the year. So I was conscious of the fact that had I done this every day, I would be on like number 730. And I had to be like, you know what? That doesn't matter. What matters is I am 700 days in and still do it. Like, honestly, consistency is number four. That is not a lie for me. And, like I said, aside from my children and my marriage, I don't think I've ever done anything for 700 days. Like, because I'm always changing things up. So I had to remind myself that no, it doesn't matter because that's not the point of it. It's not a numbers game. It's a gratitude game, if you want to call it a game, but it's just me remembering to end my day being thankful for whatever I'm thankful for that day.
Also,
Notice a difference the following day when you do your post versus the days that you might forget.
Um, No, I don't really notice a difference other than I have to talk myself out of like beating myself up about it. Like, if I'm consciously not doing a day, like sometimes I just forget, but sometimes I'm just tired and I'm just like, I'm just going to bed today. And then I'm like, I can't believe you're skipping, you have this little argument with yourself. Um, and I guess as you say it on the flip side, very rarely am I like, good job for doing this and being consistent. It's always easy to be like, can't believe you're skipping today. But I don't consciously think, way to do this today. It's 1 in the morning. You are tired. It's been a long day, and yet you're still doing this. So
Isn't that interesting how, because I agree, we're so easy to pass judgment on ourselves and be critical of ourselves rather than to give ourselves, oh, I did that. And I guess when I was asking is because I do notice on days that I don't start with gratitude that I am more critical of things than when I am starting with gratitude. I've never ended my day with gratitude. So it was an inquiry to what would it be like almost if there is, and maybe it's an experiment I need to do myself of starting and ending with gratitude and see if there's an energetic shift. But there's definitely the release self-judgment, right?
I think for me, I started doing it right before bed because I have a hard time turning my brain off. And I'll think of all the things. I'll go to bed thinking of all the things I have to do or didn't get done, and so doing it at the end of the night for me was a way to change the direction of my brain. So I get into bed at night, and my husband's so used to that. Bless him, he does not complain at all. We get into bed. He's already tucked into bed because I'm doing, face stuff and whatever. And then I get into bed, and then I get into bed and pick up the phone, do my gratitude thing on Facebook, and then I pray. I literally every night fall asleep praying.
So, one of the things that I teach, especially when we teach a sleep class, is about sleep hygiene. And I do teach people to do a brain dump and then end with gratitude, 3 to 5 things that they write down. And it doesn't have to be that, but it does when you do that neurologically, you get all the stuff out, like just write your list of what you need to do the next day, but you end with gratitude. First off, you cannot be in a state of stress and gratitude at the same time. It's literally impossible. And second, as you go to sleep, you're thinking about those positive things, so you tend to have better sleep. And then I fall asleep in prayer quite often, right? Which, you know what, the good Lord is just grateful that we were talking, and I assume that he's like, yes, and you, I assume lots of things about God, by the way, so
Same.
don't take my words for gospel truth. But I figure that he is my father. We have that relationship. We have a conversation relationship. And I love that because you know what? With my real dad, sometimes we'd be talking on the phone late at night and I'd fall asleep talking. And he'd be like, "Okay, see you later." Right? And that's okay. Like God totally understands. And that I love that you said that.
See, and I fall asleep praying because that's how I get my I I've tried it Ronay's way, but having to write it out caused me more stress than just dumping and then praying and ending, like falling asleep praying. So I'm talking to God rather than my brain continuing to cycle. And
Yeah.
so that's where I figured I had tried the kneeling by the side of my bed to pray at night and found that then I'm asleep and can't move for quite a while from kneeling. And I'm like, I think God knows me well enough that he knows that I've got to talk to him to fall asleep.
Yeah. God
So
knows the intention of our hearts. And I think, it's funny because when you say, and I was thinking about this popped into my head as we were talking about the school stuff, and it goes with prayer where it's like I used to get on my knees, which is great. We should all have moments where we are on our knees and bowed down. And but God hears our prayers no less if we're laying in bed or if we're driving the car. My favorite place to pray is driving the car, because now that you have all this handless, they just think I'm on the phone. I'm just like, and and assuming now that everybody next to me just assumes I'm on a phone call. And back in the 90s when I tried to do that, they just assume you need medication or something because there's some lady driving down the road just don't stop talking to herself. But now they just assume you're on the phone. So it's like perfect. But I think so much we also get into our head this idea of what Ronay was talking about, factory errors. And when you were talking about schooling, that's what it is, right? Schooling is like a factory. It is a system that was built for mass education. It's like it's meant for mass production. It's not meant for individualization. It's like, how do we teach? I mean, my high school, we had a graduating class of almost 1,000 people. So it's like, how do we teach 1,000 seniors these same things when you have 1,000 different personalities and they come up with this factory mass production method?
Yeah.
And it's enough to get some people by, enough of the people by that it's been the accepted way of teaching people.
Yes, and we were one of those weird people that chose homeschooling, and then we found a charter school, and then each of my kids chose a different uh, direction and how they finished school out, including our youngest, who we actually convinced him to drop out of high school because it was not mentally healthy for him. He got his GED and he does really well. Like but he wanted to be a barber, and I'm like, then go to barber college barber school your
Yeah.
senior year instead. And he did that, and it's been phenomenal for him. So everybody has a different way that they learn. Everybody has, and you can apply this to everything.
Hmm.
And that's one of the reasons, again, I'm gonna bring this back to strengths. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about your Clifton Strengths assessment. We all have 34 different strengths. We actually have 35, but that one's in my book, not from Clifton. Um, but we all have these 34 strengths. It's just what order they are in. And there's nobody been born before you, like since time started, or could possibly be born until 2050, that could have your 34 in the exact same order that you have. Now, Shannon and I, we have several in the top 10 that are the same, but they're in a completely different order and they work completely
Like you
different,
and I both have woo number one, but we use it differently.
totally differently. Because
Yeah.
you're a relationship builder executor, correct? So
Yes.
relationship builders love to do everything in a way that honors their desire to move people for or to connect with the right people. Executors love to do everything in a way that honors their desire to make sure things are done the right way. Influencers love to do everything in a way that honors their desire to move people forward. Now, Shannon, you're a relationship builder influencer like me, right?
Hmm.
Except we are totally different because I have includer high and you have relator high. So
Yeah.
Shannon's group is very tiny.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we're in that group, it just makes my heart
Yeah, I need to get t-shirts made. I need to name my tribe. I need to have some t-shirts. Yeah, I have a very small group of,
right. But and LeeAnn, I think you have includer high as well.
I do.
LeeAnn and I both have includer high. We're like, everybody come be a part of our tribe, right? Now,
yeah,
that's not to say that our tribe being as big as it is any less special.
right.
But includers tend to have more surface relationships and very few deep relationships. So right here, these are deep relationships. Relators just have deep relationships. Like, like if you were lucky to get in that group. Now Shannon knows lots of people. But the way that we approach is so different. And Shannon, you have positivity number one?
No, I'm communication relator and positivity number three.
Number three. So positivity is number three,
Yeah,
but you and I use our positivity different as well.
yeah,
At one point, and I'm gonna I don't remember which one it was because uh Shannon and I were going over our report, and in your top five, it breaks it down to how you specifically use that, considering how your order is. And
Yep.
it's really kind of fun to do this, guys. But Shannon and I were reading back and forth, and hers says she loves to give compliments. And mine says I love to receive them. And it was one of those where I was like, oh, wah, wah. But I'm like, hey, we make great friends.
Yeah.
And it's just it's that fun thing to not to compare, but to see how we use those gifts that we're given in such different ways. And it's beautiful. At one point, when LeeAnn had her old report, three of her five members of her family all had developer at number five, but they
Mm,
all used it differently. And they were all like, no, this is how you use developer, right? Except one was an executor, one was a relationship builder, strategic thinker, and the other one was a uh,
Strategic first. Sarah's
strategic
strategic first, and I can't remember.
strategic relationship builder, right? So they all used it very differently, but it was the same strength. And it's like, well, how does that work? Again, God has given us different talents according to who we are. And
right.
that's what's so beautiful.
If you put me in a room of people, I can say hi to everyone, and I will find one person to go connect with and sit in a corner with and talk to until the night is done. I won't. And whereas you're like, we've talked about this, Renee, you'll bounce around all night long talking to everybody, maybe some a little more than others, but like you feed off the energy of the full room. And I'm like, Lord, help me find a corner. And the person just, what? Not that I mean, I love being with people, but I need deep connection. I don't do, I don't do I'm not somebody who can call an acquaintance a friend. You're a friend or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. My harmony and includer are like, what are they? I always have to look it up. 20, 28, and 29. Like, I don't care if everybody gets along and I don't care if everybody's invited. Like, I don't, I don't.
And my harmony is 31.
Oh,
My husband's harmony is very high, right? So I love being able to look at people's strengths reports because you're like, oh, you get a sneak peek into who they are at their core,
Yeah, and
right?
can I just say though, and I mean, this was really important to me to learn was it's not the same as other tests out there because I know I told you for the longest time, Renee, in my business we do the disc assessments and we do the elaborate disc assessment. It's like a 40-page report and I don't want to take away from that because it did a lot of great things for my business, but I would always tell Renee, my husband and I are both really dominant people. We're both really dominant people. Like we've done the disc, we're both really and I had this issue with the fact that going on like 7, 8 years ago now, he quit his job and he started working part-time for my company. And I kept asking him, and it really made me nuts. I kept asking him, are you really okay with this? Are you happy with this? You're working part-time for me. And he was driving the kids places and doing, groceries. He had kind of picked up some of the household things. And I'm like, are you happy? Because I just didn't get how he could be happy because we're both really dominant people. So how could he be happy having me be the more dominant one financially or whatever, why he did whatever. And it wasn't until we took our strengths tests and Ronay was able to point out that, well, yeah, but look at his strengths. He's dominant in a different way. He is driven by actually, he doesn't want to be the person in front. He wants to be your support person, the person who holds you up behind you, not the person who's out in the front talking and getting the attention. And I'm like, oh, really? And I've never had to ask him again because and then him being him, he just looked at me and he's like, yeah, see, like, will you just stop asking me? But my brain until strengths couldn't connect the fact that we could both be really dominant people and yet be so different, and that he was really happy getting to do what he was doing versus, I mean, he was probably happier getting to do that than he had been when he was, you know, working all the hours and being the, dominant person in terms of, but I don't know. Anyway, so my point being that the Clifton 34 strengths test is different than any other test you've taken and more impactful.
And doing coaching as a couple and seeing the the way those strengths come together, right? And how they complement each other is huge. Ronay, don't you have a class coming soon for that?
I do. I was going to say I will put the link in that. I'm doing a strengths and marriage class, which can be couples, it can be roommates, it's people who want to communicate better with other people. We will be focusing on marriage, but one of the things that Eddie always teaches that every relationship is actually a marriage. Like when you have a relationship where you need to come together and you need to agree on certain things and you need to know each other's rules and you need to know all this stuff. And so this is the stuff that I will go over in the class. It's 4 weeks, starting the last Monday of January. And what's fun is we will end the Monday after Valentine's Day. So you'll have class on Monday, and your assignment is to do a date on the weekend, right? And then we'll talk about it the next Monday. And I'm really excited about this class, and we'll make sure I drop the link in so that you guys can see that. But one of the things that I think is if we can strengthen marriages, then we strengthen the family, we can strengthen the country. Like it
Yeah.
starts there.
Family is foundational.
Totally. It was interesting. I went to lunch with some friends and they were all talking about how they're seeing extended families just falling apart. And they were asking, what do you think's happening? And I'm like, uh, what do you think's happening? Satan's having a heyday pulling families apart because family is what God intended for us. We were
Yeah.
brought as a family. Like creation happens in a family unit, or that's God's plan, right? So if he can destroy that family unit, he destroys more. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
you guys, I am just blown away. Like my brain has so like I'm so edified. I guess that's the best word, right? Like we kind of went full circle on lots of things, but just so grateful for the two of you and for the light that you have brought for me and in the work that you guys are doing. So
Thank you. I'm so grateful for both of you as well. And this year has been an incredible year of growth. It started a year ago November with Shannon and I being at Faith Over Fear and stepping into the new the new steps that the Lord has for us, and following his steps, not my own plan, because this I this would not have been on my plan, I don't think, but I'm so excited, and really excited, especially as I'm stepping into this new. I love being on stage, guys. Like I was a musical theater major. I love being on stage, and I'm incredibly honored to be going to this church and teaching for 5 days, and also incredibly humbled at the same time. Like, oh my gosh, like Lord, thank you. Like a lot of times it's a why me, but also just like, thank you so much for the opportunity to do what I love. And that's telling people how amazing they are and how amazing God created them to be. So it's, it's super exciting. And thank you both for being on this journey with me, because that's really, really fun for me. Shannon, any closing words from you?
I appreciate you both. I mean, honestly, Renee, like I would have never envisioned this journey either. After Faith Over Fear, when you're like, hey, I want to do this thing and you're supposed to be on it with me. Renee knows me well enough that the last thing I would have done is like, yes, let's go on video and talk live to people. And so this has been Be the Light has been a journey for me of just saying yes and not overthinking it. And y'all, if you go back and watch the videos, you will see I don't overthink it. Like there's no makeup, there's no brushed hair, there's you get what you get when I show up on a Wednesday morning. So, um, And then it's just been amazing. Same thing, I think you have a way of pouring into people that is really unmatched, a way of accepting people. When you understand that's the other thing that comes from strengths that has been such a gift is not only do you learn to live in who you're meant to be, but you also learn to let others live in who they're meant to be, which is amazing as well. And then LeeAnn, you and I continue to get to know each other a little better and a little better. And one of the things I think is so amazing about you is even when you really don't know somebody well, you have this great gift of making them feel important and seen. And I always feel that from you. And so whenever you reach out and you're like, I think the three of us are supposed to do something, I'm like, oh, LeeAnn thought of me too. So um, thank you for that, because I don't think you maybe realize what a gift that is and how impactful that is to people when you make them feel welcome and important and seen.
Thank you. I had no idea. Again, no idea, right? We don't know.
No. But I'm excited for 2026. I am excited to release everything that does not serve me and that is not of God. I am excited to move forward into the visions and into what God has for me. My prayer for all of us is that we can just step into the light and the love of who God intends for us to be.
Yes, and on.
Amen.
Bye, y'all.
Have a good day.